I trust this movement finds all my loving Aja family in best of health in these challenging times of lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In continuation to the legacy of our alma mater and Alumni Association of Sir J.J. College of Architecture, we have invited many legends from the fraternity as master speakers on the forum.
I am grateful to IDAC and Aja for this platform. I welcome our three esteemed panelists, Architect Abani Das, Architect Shailesh Puranik, and Architect Amit Kulkarni. Let me begin by welcoming all the three panelists and giving a brief introduction of them. Architect Abani Das, originally from Guwahati, Assam, graduated from Sir J.J. College of Architecture, Mumbai in 1980. He formed Abani Das and Company and has completed a lot of projects all over India. His company has won the design competition of Meghalaya Legislative Assembly House in 2003. He formed Donna Builders Private Limited in Guwahati and ventured into property development. A special mention goes to Donna Planet Multiplex Mall, the first multiplex mall in the Northeast. After introducing their brand of restaurants, mainland China, Machan in Guwahati, he formed his own well-known brand, Brooklyn Brews and Working Mama. He founded the Donna Foundation Trust in 2005 for establishing and promoting educational institutions for the upliftment of education, knowledge, technology, especially in the field of architecture. The Donna Foundation Trust started the first architecture college in Guwahati in 2006 with a Bachelor of Architecture and a Masters of Planning. He is a prominent Rotarian and has functioned in various clubs in Mumbai. He is presently in the Rotary Club of Mumbai Green City and has been the president and charter president of various clubs in Mumbai. Please welcome Architect Abani Das. Our next speaker is Architect Shailesh Puranik. He is the chairman and managing director of Puranik Builders, holding a bachelor's degree in architecture from Sir J.J. College of Architecture, having completed in 1993. He took over as the managing director of Puranik Builders immediately after college and has played a pivotal role in taking the company to great heights. Under his able guidance and leadership, Puranik Builders has grown into a 450 plus member strong team. He has been awarded the Best CEO of the Year, Brand Builder of the Year, and many more awards. Till date, Puranik Builders has developed 46 landmark projects with over 5.2 lakh square meters delivered and more than 1.2 million square meters under development. Their projects are spread across Thane, Pune, Nerul, and Lonavala. Please welcome Architect Shailesh Puranik. Our next panelist is Architect Amit Kulkarni. He graduated from Sir J.J. College of Architecture in 1997. He then worked with India's largest corporate architecture firm and then became a developer. Architect Amit Kulkarni founded Varsiddhi Infrastructures Private Limited in 2006 along with Architect Bhushan Valanju and Architect Vipin Joshi, all the three of them from Sir J.J. College of Architecture. His famous quote includes a definition of a real estate developer. As per him, a real estate developer is one who supports promoters of 250 industries, complies with 80 acts of parliaments, obtains 100 plus permissions to deliver a product. Please welcome architect Amit Kulkarni. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Let us begin with Amit. Amit, can you share
Yeah,
how your partners have supported in this transition from architect to developer?
yeah. My fellow partners, being architects, my batchmates, we used to work together, and so we had that kind of a chemistry. We had spent a lot of years together in college, so we had our peculiar characteristic. Like Bhushan is a very workaholic, and he was a risk taker. Vipin is very particular, and he's very very disciplined guy. And I was like people's person. So all these like characteristics helped us to build this company. So that's why our roles also got divided accordingly, because Bhushan is handling the project vision, the finance, and overall monitoring. Bhushan is taking care of design coordination, construction coordination, and I'm taking care of approvals and all those external elements, and also people management. So this is the kind of how we supported each other, and we have come so far. So it was really very encouraging and very great journey.
That's very good to hear. Coming to you, Shailesh, has this been a very conscious decision to become an architect and then straight away move to family business as a developer?
Yes. So it was a conscious decision, if you ask, really, because see, my father is an architect, and he was working with government, and then he started on his own, wanted to build a house for himself, and then somehow, that building, when he was building, he thought maybe some extra flats I can sell, and so the business started. So from my childhood, what happened, I have seen everything around the construction, the plans, and I have always fancied, and I used to go to construction sites. So I really liked the planning, designing, building, getting ready, coming into life. So I had always liked and attracted to all those. So when it was decided around 10th or I think 12th that what is the best line to take, and I actually wanted to go to IIT, but architecture was only there, I think, in that time, whatever I remember, in Kharagpur, which was far away. So then I think the best solution and the best option was JJ, and I never regretted it. The first time I went to JJ, and I kind of fell in love with the entire atmosphere, the structures, and the area there. So I really enjoyed my stint at college also.
That's very nice to hear. Coming to you, Mr. Das, what is your vision for students of architecture?
Student of the architecture vision is very good, because at the moment, as per our Council of Architecture norms, we need a lot of architects in the country, which is not there. And other thing, I also like to urge this architect community that they are not going in a teaching profession. Unless you go in a teaching profession, how can you produce architects in the society? Because you pass out architect, you take a small cabin wherever it is possible, and you start practicing. It's okay, money is fine, money you need. But also side by side, nowadays the government allow, you can practice as well as you can teach. So I urge all the pass out students, senior architects, to teach in the college, because that gives a lot of help to the society, and like you can produce a lot of architect, because we need architect, a lot of architect in the society now today. Yeah. And that prospect is very good. I must say that it is a lot of sort of, yeah, tell me.
These are very good words from a visionary like you. Amit, how would you rate or explain the building of trust in a redevelopment project?
Yeah, redevelopment having trust on a developer is very crucial, because people are going to hand over their houses like they're like the costliest possessions what they have. So the trust is a major factor. And of course, trust do come from your financial stability of a developer. Definitely, that plays maybe a 50% of the 60% of the part to build a trust. So that goes without saying. But at the same time, there are other factors also. Like right from there are two aspects. One is that pre-bid, when you are bidding for a project, that time you start building your image or trust, the kind of documentation you submit for a tender, and how you are transparent about your entire company and your financials, and how you are owner of the company is giving time to that particular members for site visits and everything. So that creates a kind of a chemistry and kind of a comfort level with the members. And secondly, communication. Throughout the project, you have to be very, very good in communication. You have to keep them updated, what's happening, and whatever the update may be, if there is no update also, you have to keep them communicating to them. Second important aspect is, which has to be done initially, is to assess the entire project properly, the feasibility aspect, physical aspects, any history to that project. So when you go into actual approval process or any actual proceed with the development, you don't come up with the surprises. And when you have to change your offer, that creates a discomfort amongst the members. So assessing your feasibility strongly, what you commit, you should deliver, you should not deviate, and effective communication and effective documentation. Also be fair in your agreements, what you do, not only finances, but these also do matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Shailesh, can you describe the importance of design vis-a-vis the other aspects as a developer? You will need to unmute.
Yeah, Ashish. So as I said earlier also, design plays equally important role in any project. It is not that you can design, especially in today's time, that you have any kind of design and you have not considered who's going to use it, who is the end user that is going to use it, what is the customer behavior or a consumer behavior. For example, now increasingly we must be incorporating something like a desk. If it's a small house, which is like a work desk. If it's a large house, maybe an office room or a small studio room in our homes. And when we are designing a residential apartment, when you are designing commercial project, also we need to think about new social distancing norms, which is here to stay. So design is absolutely important in any project. In fact, it is become so critical these days that projects which are ill-designed or projects which do not fit the consumer requirements. You have, let's say you have 2-bedroom apartments which are very large in size, or 2-bedroom apartments which are very small in size, or you have wasted a lot of space in passage and other areas, or you have not given them space, for example, the putting up their ACs and then to keep the outdoor unit. These small things matter, and over a period, these consumer behaviors keep on changing. 10 to 12, 15 years, AC, just a window AC provision was okay. Now in bedroom you need a split AC provision. Now in living room also you need a provision for installing AC. More than 30 to 40% of all the users now are installing ACs in their living room. So I'm just giving you a small example how things change. Number of lifts that you have to go. Some regulatory changes are coming up, especially from fire. So for example, door is must now in kitchen, which was probably there in MCGM earlier. Now it's almost across Maharashtra. They are making it compulsory. So when all these things are coming together, you have to design, you have to keep check on the regulatory environment, you have to know customer or consumer behavior, and at the same time give an efficient design which will have minimum wastage of space, which will have more usability. So you are just giving flower beds, which is of no use. But if you are giving some kind of a projection which is attached to kitchen where you can keep washing room or hang clothes or something like that, is always appreciated by end user. So design is the most important thing when you are envisaging a project. Of course, there will be many other things in the project like cost, time, the entire project feasibility and all, but all that will start from design. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you. Abani, what is your vision for the college?
Yes. My vision for the college, because when I started the college, as I mentioned, cost of repetition, I'll again mention, in Northeast, there are 8 states and there was no architecture college. And it was a really difficult for that place need to educate on this architecture field. So I have started this college. Now my vision is, that in Northeast, there are a lot of sustainable materials. Sustainable material, there should be a research center. According to me, I am going to start, if God wishes. According to me, there should be a research center, all sustainable material for that region. Like, there are bamboo diameter of 1.5 feet. So that kind of situation in that area. So this we can do some research on sustainable materials, and that is used in architectural construction work, etc., etc. And this is going to be a real visionary aspect for next next 50 years, because now the cutting trees and all, it is like almost like over. So if bamboo can grow and cut, that is not a problem. Bamboo grow very fast. Tissue culture bamboo grows very fast. So if we can start these sustainable materials growing and making some product out of it, also using in the building construction, it is there almost, you see the Bali and all these places, they use all these, sustainable materials and make construction. So I think that is my vision overall. And another vision is to educate my region, that 8 state children, to become good architect, good planner, good interior designer. We have a degree course also, interior designer, because interior designer diploma, they don't have any value in the market. So I approached university. I told them that you give them degree, at least they will have some good stature in their life to carry out and go ahead. You can also do the masters on that. So and this vision, of course, I must thanks to one person, D.V. Joshi. When I started this college, I went to Ahmedabad. I was his guest for some time. Then I approached him that you must come to Guwahati and guide me, because I don't know anything about architecture. I want to start an architecture college. So he was with me in Guwahati for 4 days. He and Professor Chaya and one group, like 4 or 5 people. And he comes in Guwahati and he really literate me how to grow in architecture business. He said, in and around your college, all the villagers, you should bring them and give them some kind of school, some kind of skill related to architecture field. And there is going to be a very potential member in the society. So which I have, that is my vision also. I've got a lot of vision, but time is restricted. Now tell me.
That is indeed something, that how architects can share things with each other and help to build up the society. Coming to you, Amit, what is the most critical point of being a developer? What is the most crucial aspect?
We deal with redevelopment. So what happens is redevelopment, especially when you are doing slum, people think a developer is like a Brahmadev, that he knows everything and he has got solutions for, all the things in this world. So they look up to you with high expectations. So one has to be very, very responsive and, to all these demands. But important factor is, as Shailesh and Abani sir are also saying, the good combination of design, construction time and management, and good financial management. Of course, raising finance, obviously, but financial management, managing the cash flows, and are the most important things. And they go hand in hand. If even one aspect fail, your project might be in problem. So one has to be very particular about that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Amit. Shailesh, if you have to rate the priority of the importance of design as a developer, how would you rate these things? One, aesthetics, ease of approvals. Number two, cost. Number three, and saleable area. Number four.
Yeah. Ashish, actually what happens is these priorities keep on shifting on the type of project you're doing. So maybe if you're doing a project in South Mumbai or Central Mumbai or the far suburbs, in that also what kind of project you're doing, whether it is a middle class housing project, a higher trend or a premium project, whether you're doing a first home or you're doing a second home project. So based on these things will keep on shifting. So sellable area is no longer the main. Of course it is in some of the areas, but now what has happened in last few years or so, the FSI available has increased so much that sellable area is not the real criteria now. What you need to do is profitability of the project, and that might vary. So if you want to consume the entire sellable area, for example, and then your building goes 60 story, and your profit is, let's say 100 crore in that project, and then instead of that you build a 30-story project and maybe you are earning 70 crore profit. But if you are getting that profits in let's say next 2 years or 2.5 years instead of next 4 or 5 years, the net present value works out much better than only looking at the profitability on a static model. So this is one. If you're doing a higher end project or a premium project, aesthetics really become important. Cost is always important. So I would say it is always a combination which would take priority, will decide or will depend on the type of the project that you're doing, location of the project that is there. So and mind well that even if we are doing a say very very high end or a premium project and we are not considering cost, it never happens. So cost is something that you always have to keep in mind. Efficiency in design, selection of materials, where you will get these kind of or a premium materials at a better price because you are having economics of scale and things like that. For example, recently tied up with a very renowned MNC tile manufacturer to give across all our projects. So what happened is the kind of scale volume that we were able to give that manufacturer. So we are getting that tile at a price which is cheaper than a local manufacturer or even a Chinese manufacturer is asking me. So that is the advantage. So all these factors like saleability, total area you will get, cost, aesthetics, all these have to be considered in different proportions every time. And that is something that is your experience. That is something that your market research, customer behavior research, what are they looking for? All that will come together because I encourage all my architecture team. So we have in-house team to also go out in the market and study competition and also go out with sales and talk to sales and what are they looking for when they are talking to customers. What is the customer asking? Maybe you have completed a project. I ask them and go to talk to some of the customers. Okay, what is it that they like? What is it that more they will like? For example, the way I talked about living room in AC. So I told them, take a survey. 30% people had ACs in the living room. I said, so now it's time to we have to give the provision of that. So all these things matter. And then it is not a single kind of formula that will work and fit for all. So you have to keep on evolving and you have to keep on changing as per the market dynamics and the customer behavior.
These are very good insights.
Thank you.
For an architect who is designing projects. Amit, now coming to you again, how would you rate, the satisfaction as being an architect as being a developer?
As Shailesh said initially, it is a kind of an extension of our profession. And I was working with India's one of the leading firm, Edifice, where we are learned under Ravi and Sanjay, and that kind of really helped us to carry our developer model, and it is goes hand in hand, and it is very difficult. Like sometimes the stress is what we face in developer being in any particular project, and then sometimes we feel like it's too much of stress, and we were good at in architecture practice. But once we get through that issue and once we accomplish that particular task and project, and the kind of satisfaction you get is really good. So it really compensate that maybe a small time of issues. So I won't say one is bad, which is better or which is bad, but both are like complementary. And for us, it is really helping us to lead our profession, the new profession. Being architect has really been helpful, I must say.
Since you mentioned stress, which a lot of developers are going under tremendously, Shailesh, what is your wish list as a developer?
Yeah, so wish list is, you are asking wish list from customers or wish list from customers or wish list from financiers, and in government also, state government and central government. So we have a long pending wish list, and I think the first and most important is government, from central government. And in fact, we have started with a campaign, kind of an online agitation campaign, because the industry and smaller developers are really going through a lot of issues and challenges today. And for that, in fact, what happened that, for last 6-7 years, the market, although it is cyclical, it remained kind of muted for a very, very long time. Not only muted, it all shifted to branded developers, reputed developers. Then also a lot of consolidation happened, larger players emerged on the scene. And again, in that period, again, what you have is now the COVID situation hitting us, which is badly. We had 4 tsunamis, which is like NBFC crisis or RERA or GST or demonetization. So we thought, one after another tsunami is coming. Now what next? Likely to poised to get, look up from the ashes and rise. And then now you have this. So we are already down and it's like hitting the bottom. And again, you find out there is more. This is not the bottom. You are likely to go down. But I think from government and considering architects today, I feel very, very important that development control rules cannot be the property of only few people in government, that only they can implement. We architects are better off. Have you seen that we have to submit your final returns, the income tax return? You have to go to government, get it approved and submit. It's CA who approves, CA who signs, checks. So it's absolutely possible in our field also. We have development control rules and we have architects. We are giving them license. They are controlled by council and a lot of other organizations, also professional associations like IA and all we have. So you make them that you have to get it signed and approved by an architect, and you keep vigilance and you keep checks from government. That also you appoint some professional agency. There are few big architectural firms whom you can appoint and outsource it. Why it should remain like a jaidad of few government employees, that they only understand government development control rules, they only can interpret conveniently, and we architects cannot interpret. We can. And I think looking at this forum, what I want is that it is very important and it is absolutely possible that government can make it that only architects can sign and architects can approve the plan, and government only becomes like a monitoring agency. This is, I think, the most important thing and will be a most radical reform, much needed reform for our industry, which is architects and developers coming put together. Besides that, a lot of other demands are there, wish list is there from government, like restructuring is there, give us a industry status is there. Real estate has long been asking for a priority status, priority sector lending, financial management is there. It's next to agriculture that we are kind of job that we are generating. I think Amit mentioned more than 250, it's 262 or something industries which are affected by real estate. So it is lot of, I think when we calculated last 5 crore of population is affected by real estate. So government has to look at it from a right perspective. Gone are the days 15 or 20 years ago that real estate was all the chores and everything was, smugglers were there. Now all professional people are there, professional organizations are there, and they are managing the show. And you look at, there is no unauthorized construction happening absolutely anywhere. Then it is time that it gets the due which is required. It's the most noble profession, building your home or building your office. And I think it is long overdue that it gets its due, which it deserves. Thank you.
I hope your concerns are able to reach the government. But Abani, how do you think that we as architects or as developers should start this dialogue with the government?
Dialogue with the
government.
government. Okay. Yeah, this is very important because today this what government keep bringing the laws, bylaws and all keep changing time to time. It's very difficult. They give you approval and immediately after 2 years they change the matter, but building is not completed. So you have to go through all these norms again. So it is a very tough job. So I think our architects our alumni should make a representation to the government. They should write them. Alumni should organize themselves and write to the government that give us the representation to government. Architects should have representation to the third-party architects, like not that kind of government architect. Third-party architects, like they should have some representation in the government, so that there are a lot of other things will be eased out. Because what actually we need, we must express to the government, because they also don't know. I know a lot of government people, because you see that all basically on the top level, in government level, the yes men are there. They make it, but then they don't express the real problem of the building construction. How the developer are facing the building construction problems. They are not expressing that. So this representation of our alumni, if they represent to the government, it is going to be a very, very, very useful thing for us. That's what I feel. I've been telling our alumni in Guwahati also, in Assam also, in Northeast also, that you do the representation to the government and you try to make it a point. They listen to you. At least they call you for a meeting. That is very important.
Okay, that is very insightful. That the architects have to organize themselves and make themselves heard, which is very true. And in these stressful times, we look for answers and we look for support from the government. Now, coming to such stressful memories, can we know something from you, Shailesh? What kind of memory from JJ helped you as a developer?
So I will tell you frankly, whenever I look back, and then sometimes I feel like 93 after college, almost now 27, 28 years, and these 27 years and the time spent, which is 5 years in college, that looks like much longer than what this 25 plus years look like. But if I look at my entire which is school career and then this career and then the college career, college time, 5 years, I think I always say to all the friends, whenever we come together, I think those were the 5 best years of my life. I learned a lot. And school times you used to study a lot. In college you used to study a lot, but in JJ we studied a lot. We did a lot of masti and we did a lot of fun together. And JJ is the period where I learned that you can study also and you can have fun also. You can enjoy also. You can order a Sitaram's chai, or you can sit in a canteen and do time pass, at the same time discussing about what the next design. At the same time, discussing about this, your Princi, what he's talking about and how crazy he is. At the same time, talking about, yes, these are some of the important things that he has shared. I loved working for NASA. That taught me a lot. The first time I heard a word deadline, and then you need to complete certain things in certain time, that you need to set a deadline for yourself first. These are some of the things that I learned when I was, working for NASA in, I think, my second year or third year. Then we hosted NASA. Then it was a much larger work. It's like an organization. You are doing a lot of new things together. At the same time, you were building the atelier with your own hands, with those bricks and cement and plaster. I think that kind of learnings, those kind of moments, I think I would never get again in my life. In fact, I was never a poet. 4 or 5 years after college, I started getting so many memories. I wrote my first poem, which was about college. So these are the kind of, the memories and learnings that I have from college.
We didn't know
Thank
this
you.
facet of you as a poet. Abhi, how did JJ help you? Abani?
Yeah, sorry, you're asking me? Yeah. JJ, when I landed JJ, it was my dreamland, kind of. I have come from Assam, Guwahati. You know that those days, what was the kind of development in Guwahati. So it was my dreamland. I just thought I just reached a dreamland. Then I made a thing that like I must do something in this campus. But then we are, that enjoying the canteen, not attending the class in time, and telling someone go and give my attendance. So now those things, naughty things we have done enough. Then we started working as well as college, and then working in the office part time. So those days were really memorable. I mean, I don't know. Nowadays also I meet all the like Mishra, then Pitkar, everyone I meet them and I talk to them and they said we enjoyed this campus like nobody's business. This campus got some kind of energy. If you go there, that will give you so much energy that if you know how to collect that energy, you will success in life. But if you don't know how to, there are so many people I have seen in JJ. I mean, they are also very nice, but then they spoil their life. But this energy, to absorb this energy in this campus also is very important. And I really thoroughly enjoyed. I have my very good friend from all over the country, and I keep contacting them. They are almost retired from their jobs, and their families grown up, their children are married, and their grandchildren are there. So I like to really share those moments, like Tanya's chai, and then canteens, that usal pav, and kind of, bread, that egg omelette and bread, because we don't have anything, we cannot afford even. And Tanya used to give us udhari, that was the biggest advantage, because we never used to get udhari outside anywhere, but he used to give us udhari. But then he used to tell, "Tumhara manedar hai to humko paisa dena." So I remember, and then I used to stay in the Bandra hostel. In the same situation, again Bandra hostel, same situation, used to live. But those days, our friends and everyone so caring to each other. If somebody comes to know that I am not well or somebody is not well, we go and look after them. It's like I give you one very good example. One day we had gone to Grand Road to cinema, over 8-10 people. So they were all pulled ticket, pull money and bought the ticket. But nobody is telling that they don't have any leftover money. I'm thinking that he's got money to go back by bus. So after seeing the cinema, they realized that nobody has money. So we had to walk from Grand Road to JJ College of, our Bandra hostels. Now imagine, but it was a fun working from there to there, like, in the early morning we reach. So I really remember, and then those days we don't have any money to drink tea. So we are 6 people sitting in a row, and one sip, one Titania gives one, I can give you only one, this is a mountain. He gives 1 cup and we share all of. See, these are the moments you used to live life, like I tell you that JJ campus got so much magical effect in our friendship. I really, whenever I go now, I just visit the campus. But I cannot identify a single person, because I have passed out almost 42 years from this college. And I cannot locate any known faces. So I feel so bad. Previously, there was a young girl in the library, and she used to, I think she also retired. I don't know. I don't see her these days. So I wanted to identify some known face, some watchman, some peon, but everyone is retired. So I feel so bad. And the principal cabin was all full of dirty, the makoras and all this. So my son also has passed out from, he said, I feel like cleaning that thing. So one day I told Pitkar, he was in a principal in charge. So I think we put some people and clean that, principal cabin. So these are the memories, we have so much. And I cannot, I can write a book on my memories. So it is excellent. I think Amit and Shailesh also had the same kind of experience, and you also, Ashish, must be having same kind of experience. It's like really nostalgia. If you have to share, I think we need about 3 hours.
Absolutely. No, the energy when you are in college is totally different.
Yeah.
So, how was the energy with you and your current partners?
Correct.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. See, JJ days were like what you can say different, and that was really a life learning experience. And JJ taught us whatever street smartness you need to be a businessman or a developer, we got it in JJ. So I remember we were like 16 of us together in JJ, our group of 16, and we are still together. We meet almost 4-5 times in a year, and we still share the same energy, and we also collaborate on a lot of fronts. But there's so many memories. Means like we do remember not like missing coming to college, but we may not have attended the lectures that whole day, sitting whole day on workshop doing nothing, but we never missed the college, and that really taught us so many things. Overall experience, we are really excellent teacher, excellent campus. Who can imagine such campus in the heart of the city? And that really shaped us. Like we those 5 years were like golden years, I must say. And
fully.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody here would have had fantastic memories. So now let us open the question answer session for people who have posted some questions on the chat. Let me start by taking questions there. I think we conclude this panel discussion here now. We have got some questions. SN Kalburgi. Yeah. So Amit, since you are developing a single project of about 1.5 million square feet redevelopment project, how do you think the existing services can cope up with the redevelopment, especially regarding to water and drainage?
Hello.
see, as you are well aware, government is in DCR only. They are including that all the water conservation measures. We have to do a lot of water conservation issues, measures, and those will take care of a lot of water issues. But at the same time, these added virgins, added FSI is putting some pressure on the existing services definitely. But corporation is insisting on having sewage treatment plants and all your solid waste management also. So that is being taken care within the site itself before it is going outside your site. So those measures, additional measures what we are taking will definitely ease out some pressure on the services. And it is compulsory as per environmental norms as well. So we are just following those norms.
Okay, so corollary to the same question, how important do you think is sustainable development, since as you are an architect also, so how important is sustainable development? Amit, can you talk about how important the importance of sustainable development?
See, sustainable development, as the question question was raised. Question was raised earlier as well, and uh, and are you able to hear me?
Yes.
So that is the future. That is going to be new normal, anyways. For last almost 15 years, this initiative has started, and all environmental clearance and those they look at your project very diligently, and without clearing those basic norms, you're not allowed to start your building, or you're not allowed to construct beyond certain percentage of area. And when you are constructing any building, its environmental impact is to be assessed, and those all parameters are checked at very at the very initial stages. So it plays a very important role, and energy conservation, reusing the existing material, not taking your soil from your site somewhere else, utilize that soil within your site, even the demolished material used within the site, or make some concrete blocks out of that. Reuse as much you can, and conserve as much you can trees within the site. Reduce additional usage of energy, generate your own energy, have solar, and all those initiatives what they are talking about, sewage treatment plant, water conservation. So all, and even the impact on the, if you are having a high-rise building, the impact on the adjoining buildings, which are like low-rise buildings. So how the shadow effect happens on those buildings. So all these elements do work, and those are studied, assessed at the very beginning. So they make part of the very crucial part of any construction project. Very crucial elements work, and those are studied, assessed at the very beginning. So they make part of very crucial part of the.
Okay. Shailesh, can you switch on your camera? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Since you have completed almost 5 million square feet, and you have also taken the lead in leading a delegation to the government, how hopeful are you about these GST requests that you have made to the government?
Yeah, Ashish, thank you for asking this question, because I think this is very important, and whatever requests that we have put forward, it's not only GST, there are many other requests which also talk about restructuring, lowering of interest rate, passing of the interest rate benefit to end user, which is customer also and a developer also. So all put together, these requests are very important for survival of the industry. Please appreciate real estate industry feeds
Sunil.
More than 5 crore people
Sunil,
in India.
here.
More than 262 industries are dependent on real estate. So the whole ecosystem which is around real estate will be able to drive economy and take it to a height that we all are hoping for. In fact, after agricultural, this is the industry which employs larger number of people and has capacity to make a significant dent on the economy, be it upwards or be it downwards. So we are very hopeful that the government considers our request positively, not only for us, but also for a customer or a consumer or the labor who are stranded, who have gone back, who have no livelihood, who want to come back and then work in on a real estate site or the project, and all the other industries like cement and steel and tiles and plumbing, and so we all know about that. So I think it is question of economy bouncing back, and if we want our economy to bounce back, if we want our consumer and customer to benefit, government must consider these requests. Thank you, Ashish.
Okay, thank you, Shailesh. Abani, what is your guidance to students of architecture in this post-COVID era?
Sorry, come again.
how will you guide students of architecture
Yeah.
in this post-COVID era?
Okay. It's very important. In fact, in my college, I'm also doing the same. We are running all the classes in Zoom, and we are also taking submissions and other thing in the Zoom because we want to waste time. In fact, the directive of the council and all other thing. And
Avani sir,
yeah,
you're on mute, I think.
I'm in a mute.
No, you can hear him.
You,
Okay.
Yeah,
you can hear me. You can hear
yeah.
me. So I suggest all our students not to lose heart, but they should not waste this beautiful time at home, because they are relaxing at home and they should be in touch with their faculties and they should do their regular projects. They should take their faculties, seniors' help to pass this time because I don't think so that anyone for this matter to waste time during this period. Yes.
Amit, what is your outlook for redevelopment after this COVID once it normalizes?
Uh, the, I think it will take some time people to again go for redevelopment because they would like to assess the market completely. As you know, everybody is under stress. Like all institutes, developers, and even the prospective buyers, they will also think, whether to go the new purchase of house. So people will think for some time. So to initiate this process, I think 3 to 4 months will go, where people will get normalized and they will get acclimatized with the overall economic scenario, and then it will it will restart. That's what I feel, and there will be a lot of changes, like how we perceive even design. So people will ask for balconies because people got into their houses for almost 3 months, and especially in Mumbai, post fungible came into picture. A lot of balconies were like vanished from the design. Earlier, we used to use flower beds as a balcony, but those are like not allowed now. So now I think uh, balconies should be introduced, and optimum planning that people might explore working from home. Now everybody knows that schools are also happening from home, so you need a lot of space within your house to take care of all these. And if you have multiple, like you have one or two kids, then you need two different places to sit. So it has to optimize. So effective planning, how you plan your work from home scenario within your house, will also play a vital role in design support. And there will be value engineering will be done because the cost which was COVID and costing post COVID will have impact. So that has to be assessed. Otherwise, you won't be achieving the desired figures what you envisage. That is very, very crucial. The value engineering will have to innovate. The developer, architect, and team, construction team will have to innovate how to reduce the construction time. How, or maybe you can go for a simple plan which can be just replicated and to save construction time. So all those measures will be undertaken. So that will take this redevelopment ahead henceforth.
Thank you, Amit. As you said, value engineering is very important. So coming to a question which has been posed, Shailesh, do you think that the decline in economy will lead to use of some innovative materials to reduce the cost of houses so as to increase the saleability and demand?
Yeah, I think decline in economy has got nothing to do with it. Uh, One thing is very important that cost saving is not a one-time exercise. Cost optimization, value engineering, making innovative changes in design, which saves your cost as well as give you a better feature or a better amenity. These are a continuous exercises that you need to undertake, and whatever kind of market you are in, it's kind of not linked to any kind of market, because what happens is in any kind of market you will always have competition, and when you have competition, it's competition which decides the sellability and the selling cost and the rate that you can command and everything. So when you are in a competitive market or a market which is highly commoditized, which is, it's like I am selling 1 BHK and you are selling 1 BHK and 2 BHK and 3 BHK and nothing beyond that. So when we have a market like that, so innovation, value engineering and saving on cost, which are very, very important factors, because one, you need differentiation in your product, and second, to get good bottom line or good profits, you need to economize on cost. You need to save on time in completing the construction, as well as in whatever minimum cost without compromising on quality. You are able to do the project or the construction. For that, whatever newer technologies that you can implement, whatever newer ideas that you can implement. So all that will always should be practiced, and it's only that in a declining economy you want to maybe more focus on it, but it doesn't work like that. It has to be a regular exercise. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you. Swapnil, I think Shailesh, I think we have time enough for only one last question. This is from Swapnil Sawant to Shailesh. How housing economy will impact the overall economy or the GDP of the country?
So as in fact, I always already mentioned that in my earlier answer. So after agricultural, construction is the second most important, or the employment generator industry. That is one. The impact is almost 10%. In fact, if you look at some of the world economies, the share of real estate in world economies is very high compared to what real estate has, and there is a huge scope for improvement there. There is a huge gap in the demand and supply. There is a lot of latent demand. There are a lot of people who want to buy, are staying in a rented premises, or staying in a chawl somewhere, or staying in a slum somewhere, or wanting to migrate and come to city. So there is a huge demand. As you know, India is showing urbanization trends, and India's urbanization trends are slightly different. So it's not like Australia where only 2 cities are growing. So we have many metropolitan cities which are growing. Then we have many tier 2 and tier 3 cities also which are growing, and population of rural area is actually decreasing. With this reverse migration, it might increase for a time, but because they have no livelihood, they will want to come back, and they are wanting to come back. So population of towns and cities and metropolitan cities will keep on growing. When you have such a scenario, the impact that real estate as an industry will have on economy will keep on increasing, and it is for government to put more efforts into recognizing this as an industry. It is for government to put in more a stimulus for this industry, more stimulus, so that demand comes back to the market, and you have a good match between the demand and supply, because the kind of shortage we had was really high in real estate in India. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you, Shailesh. I think we are running out of time. I would like to close this session here. I would like to thank our esteemed panelists, Architect Shailesh Puranik, Architect Amit Kulkarni, and Architect Abani Das, all being developers and giving their insights, especially in these stressful times. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashish.
Excellent job in your team, you and your team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.